Welcome back to the Dinarr Daily. Have you seen the wild headlines claiming the Iraqi dinar is about to skyrocket to 448 against the US dollar overnight? Sounds unbelievable, right? That's because it probably is. Today, we're cutting through the hype, breaking down the myths, and exposing the real truth behind the so-called Iraqi Dinar Revaluation. Every few years, these rumors make waves online, promising instant wealth and overnight millionaires. But behind the flashy claims, there's usually more fiction than fact. If you've been following this topic, you know how quickly social media fills up with excitement every time someone claims the RV is moments away. But what's actually going on in Iraq's economy in 2025 tells a very different story. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what's real, what's not, and most importantly, how to protect yourself from getting swept up in false promises. So grab a coffee, relax, and let's dive in. Right now, Iraq's exchange rate still sits around 1,300 to 1,500 dinars per US dollar, depending on market movements. That means you'd still need over 1,000 dinars to buy just one US dollar. Despite all the buzz about a currency reset or revaluation, the Central Bank of Iraq hasn't made any official announcements hinting at a sudden jump. Their focus has remained on gradual stabilization, improving the banking system, and strengthening public confidence, not on overnight miracles. Now, here's why that's important. A true currency revaluation isn't something that happens out of nowhere. It's a planned, deliberate decision made by a government or central bank when real, measurable improvements in the economy justify it. Historically, these changes are small, maybe a few percentage points, and not thousands. So when people talk about the dinar shooting from 1,300 per dollar to 448 per dinar, that's not just optimistic. It's economically impossible. To put this into perspective, such a move would make Iraq's currency 5 times stronger than the US dollar and even more valuable than the British pound. For that to happen, Iraq would need to instantly transform its economy into one of the most powerful in the world. And we all know that's not happening overnight. A country's currency strength comes from its GDP, production levels, foreign reserves, and global demand, not from viral internet predictions. In 2025, Iraq's economy continues to rely heavily on oil, which makes up about 95% of government income and 60% of total GDP. That's a double-edged sword. High oil prices bring in more revenue, but they also make the economy vulnerable when prices fall. True diversification, investing in manufacturing, agriculture, and technology takes time, policy consistency, and global partnerships. Without that foundation, a sudden currency surge simply can't be sustained. So where does this 448 rumor even come from? Most likely from online forums and social media pages where small bits of truth get twisted into huge, unrealistic claims. These spaces often combine partial facts with wild predictions to grab attention. And unfortunately, a lot of people fall for it. But here's the truth. The Central Bank of Iraq, IMF, and World Bank have never confirmed any such plan. In fact, Iraqi officials have consistently stated that their goal is exchange rate stability, not rapid changes. Let's dig into the math. To hit a 448 exchange rate, Iraq would need to create trillions of dollars in new national value, drastically shrink its money supply, and somehow convince global markets to demand dinars overnight. That's not just unlikely, it's economically impossible under the current global financial system. Even if Iraq's economy doubled or tripled in size, the currency would only rise gradually, not in one massive leap. So what is happening in Iraq's financial scene right now? The country is rebuilding, investing in infrastructure, expanding oil production, and strengthening regional trade ties. They're modernizing banking, encouraging foreign investment, and working on inflation control. These are all positive steps that will build long-term stability. But again, this process takes years, not days. The central bank's approach is simple: stability first, growth second, revaluation last. Now, let's talk about Iraq's foreign reserves, a key part of currency strength. Thanks to consistent oil exports and improved fiscal management, reserves are up, but still nowhere near enough to support a $4.48 rate. To sustain a currency that strong, Iraq would need to hold massive reserves and have global demand for its dinar in trade, and that's just not the case right now. The US dollar still dominates most of Iraq's international transactions. Countries with highly valued currencies like Kuwait or Switzerland share key traits: small money supplies, diversified economies, and long-term trade surpluses. Iraq isn't there yet. The good news is that it's moving in the right direction, but reaching that level takes structural reform, not speculation. And as history shows, currencies that rise too fast without the backing of real growth often collapse just as quickly. Inflation and public trust also play a huge role. Iraq has done better in recent years controlling inflation, but confidence still takes time to rebuild. People, both local citizens and global investors, need to believe that the government can maintain a new rate long term. That's why central banks move cautiously. A rushed revaluation would likely trigger chaos, not prosperity. Iraq's current strategy focuses on steady progress, and that's the smarter, safer path. Another popular myth claims that paying off debt automatically leads to a revaluation. While Iraq has made strong progress reducing its debt, that doesn't translate to a currency explosion. It simply improves the country's creditworthiness, which helps attract investment over time. Think of it like building a house. Paying off debt lays the foundation, but you still need walls, wiring, and a roof before the house is complete. Iraq is still building. Economists and financial experts mostly agree. The dinar's value could rise gradually as Iraq stabilizes, but not in a massive overnight spike. Maybe a few percentage points a year if the economy continues improving. No credible analyst has ever predicted a sudden leap to 448 here. In fact, most warn that this kind of hype can lead investors to make reckless, emotional decisions that end up costing them money and peace of mind. Many early dinar investors still hope for the big day when the RV hits. But years later, the rate remains relatively stable. The truth is, currency speculation is one of the riskiest bets out there, unpredictable, illiquid, and often driven by rumors. Smart investors diversify, stay patient, and never risk what they can't afford to lose. Hope is not a strategy. Research and realism are. Sadly, the dinar world has also attracted scammers. These people prey on optimism and spread false insider stories about secret revaluation plans. They'll claim to have special connections or offer to sell you dinars at inflated rates before the big announcement. But remember this, real investment opportunities never depend on secrecy or urgency. If someone promises you guaranteed profits from an unverified event, that's your red flag. Now don't get me wrong, Iraq's long-term potential is real. The nation has massive oil reserves, a growing young population, and a strategic location for trade. If Iraq continues modernizing, building trust, and reducing corruption, the dinar can strengthen naturally over time. But that's a long-term process measured in years, maybe decades, not days. Those who stay informed and patient will be the ones who benefit most in the end. In 2025, Iraq's financial institutions are focusing on digital banking integration, improving transparency, and tightening anti-money laundering regulations. These are critical steps that attract foreign investors and build confidence in the dinar. As these systems mature, stability grows stronger. But again, this evolution doesn't equal a sudden revaluation. It shows Iraq is building the foundation the right way, one careful step at a time. If you already own dinars, the smartest thing you can do is stay informed and patient. Follow credible news, not viral hype. Check official statements from the Central Bank of Iraq and legitimate financial sources. Understand that currencies reflect economic fundamentals, not social media buzz. Diversify your investments so your future doesn't depend on a single uncertain event. And for those new to this conversation, learn how exchange rates actually work. Understand what drives value in global markets, things like production, exports, and financial discipline. Iraq is moving forward, but change at this level is slow and steady. Believing in instant wealth only leads to disappointment. Real prosperity comes from education, strategy, and consistency. So here's the bottom line. The Iraqi dinar revaluation rumors are back, louder than ever, promising an impossible 448 exchange rate. But no matter how many flashy thumbnails or bold claims you see online, the facts simply don't match the fantasy. Iraq's progress is real, but it's not that dramatic. True growth takes patience and persistence. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to hit like, share this video, and subscribe for more Straight Talk updates right here on the Dinarr Daily. Stay smart, stay grounded, and remember, your greatest investment isn't the currency you hold, it's the knowledge you build. Until next time, stay wise and stay informed.